Respected dreamers, respected warriors of life, I want you to pause for just a moment and feel this. What if the very thing that has been holding you back, the invisible chain that whispers doubt and fear in your ear every single day, isn't reality at all? What if it's simply a story you've been telling yourself for far too long? A story that has silently told you, you're not ready, you can't achieve that, it's too risky, someone else will do it better. And because of this story, you've been playing small. You've been watching opportunities pass by while fear keeps you frozen, locked in a cage of your own creation. But here's the truth. Every single person you admire, every person who's ever lived a life of purpose, wealth, impact, and freedom, they all faced fear. They all felt the doubt. But the difference between them and those who stay stuck is simple. They didn't let fear decide their fate. I want you to close your eyes and imagine your life without fear for a moment. Imagine waking up every morning feeling unstoppable, feeling alive, knowing that every decision you make, every step you take is fueled by clarity, confidence, and courage. What would that feel like? Imagine being able to earn more because fear no longer holds you back from going after the opportunities you deserve. Imagine being able to live more because fear no longer keeps you trapped in routines, relationships, or jobs that drain your soul. Imagine being able to give more because you finally have the abundance of time, of money, of energy to make a real difference. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, there was a man who dreamed of starting his own business. Every night he lay awake, haunted by fear, the fear of failure, of judgment, of losing what little security he had. But one day, he realized something powerful. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is a compass. Fear shows you exactly where you need to grow, exactly where you need to step forward. So, he took one small action, one uncomfortable, scary, trembling step, and then another, and then another. And with each step, fear began to shrink. His courage began to grow. That man's life transformed, not because he avoided fear, but because he embraced it, he leaned into it, and he refused to let it dictate his story. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You've tried pushing through fear before, and it didn't work. You tried taking risks, and maybe you failed. Or maybe people laughed, criticized, or doubted you. And because of that, you built walls, you buried your dreams, and you whispered to yourself, it's safer to stay small. But here's the thing. Safety is an illusion. Comfort is a trap. Fear is the real obstacle standing between you and the life you've been longing for. And the moment you decide that fear will no longer be the author of your life, everything changes. You begin to see opportunities where once you saw obstacles, you begin to take actions that once terrified you, and suddenly the world begins to open its arms to you. Let's be honest, fear isn't logical. It doesn't care about your potential, your passion, or your purpose. Fear only knows one thing: how to keep you small, how to keep you silent, how to keep you from stepping into your greatness. But courage, real, lasting courage, isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling that fear, seeing it for what it is, and moving forward anyway. And here's the secret. The more you move forward in spite of fear, the more empowered you become. The more empowered you become, the more abundance flows to you, the more doors open, and the more life reveals its limitless possibilities. I want you to ask yourself right now, deep down, what is fear keeping you from? Is it a promotion, a business, a relationship, a dream you've buried? Is it stopping you from earning the money you deserve, living the life you've imagined, and giving to others in a way that lights your soul on fire? Whatever it is, I promise you this. The path to freedom, the path to abundance, the path to impact begins with a single choice. The choice to confront your fear, to stare it in the face, and to say, you do not control me anymore. And here's where the transformation begins. You don't start by eliminating fear. You start by understanding it. You start by recognizing the patterns that have been keeping you trapped. And then you take deliberate action, small but intentional, every single day. Because every time you face fear, every time you push past the hesitation, your brain rewires itself. Your confidence grows, your possibilities expand. You are, in fact, training yourself to earn more, live more, and give more, not by luck, not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by mastering the one thing that most people never master, themselves. Let me take you deeper, because understanding fear isn't enough. You have to feel it, you have to experience it, and then you have to use it as fuel. Think about fear like a shadow. It only has power over you if you run from it, if you try to hide from it, if you convince yourself it's stronger than you. But when you turn toward it, when you shine the light of awareness on it, the shadow shrinks. And that's exactly what most people never do. They let fear run their lives from the shadows, silently dictating their choices, their careers, their relationships, their dreams. I want you to hear a story about a woman I know. She was brilliant, creative, and full of potential, but she spent decades working a job that drained her spirit. Every day, she felt the fear of leaving security, the fear of failure, this air of what others would think. But one morning, she made a choice. She would not let fear control her any longer. She wrote down her dream, she made a plan, and she committed to one bold action. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't easy, but it was real. And the universe responded. Doors began to open, mentors appeared, opportunities that she never imagined started to flow in. Within a year, she was living a life she thought was impossible, not because fear disappeared, but because she learned to move through it. Here's what I want you to understand. Fear is often a signal that you are about to grow, that you are about to stretch beyond the familiar. That's why fear feels uncomfortable. That's why it makes your heart race, your stomach knot, your mind swirl with doubt. But every time you move forward in the presence of fear, you are training your mind, your body, your spirit to expand beyond the limitations you once accepted as truth. And this is how you begin to earn more, not just financially, but in richness of experience, in personal growth, and in the ability to impact the world around you. I want you to reflect on this for a moment. How many times have you said no to yourself because fear whispered, not now, or you're not ready, or someone else will do it better? How many dreams have you shelved? How many opportunities have you walked past because you listened to fear instead of your heart? The harsh truth is that every time you do, you trade a little piece of your potent IL for temporary comfort. And while comfort feels safe, it doesn't transform lives, it doesn't create wealth, it doesn't create impact. And it certainly doesn't create the kind of life that makes your soul sing. So how do you break the cycle? How do you stop fear from running the show? It starts with awareness. Begin to notice your thoughts. Notice the stories you tell yourself. Notice the excuses. And then make a decision that no matter how you feel, no matter how uncertain the path ahead looks, you will act anyway. You will do what your fear says you cannot. And every time you do, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the fear, that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined, and that your life is waiting on the other side of that courage. I also want you to see that fear is not just personal. It affects everything around you. Your ability to earn more, to live more fully, and to give generously is directly connected to how you handle fear. When you shrink from it, your resources shrink. When you embrace it, your possibilities expand. Fear, when mastered, becomes a powerful compass pointing you toward growth, impact, and abundance. Every time you act in spite of fear, you are training your brain to focus on opportunity instead of limitation, to move toward courage instead of comfort, and to create a life that is no longer dictated by the shadows of what might go wrong. And here's a truth many people never admit to themselves, the people you admit. The people living extraordinary lives, they are not fearless. They are simply trained to respond differently to fear. They have built habits, routines, and mindsets that allow them to see fear as a guide rather than a jailer. And this is exactly what you can do too. You can retrain your mind, your actions, and your beliefs to step boldly into fear, to transform it into a bridge to the life you've always wanted. Now let's go even deeper, because facing fear isn't just about moments of bravery. It's about building a life where fear no longer has the final say. It's about creating momentum, a force so strong that hesitation cannot hold you back. I want you to imagine your life as a river. Right now, fear might feel like a dam, holding the water back, stopping the flow, making everything slower, smaller, contained. But what happens when you start removing the barriers, one stone at a time? The water begins to rush forward. It grows stronger, louder, unstoppable. That's what happens when you confront fear consistently. That's what happens when you decide that every day, no matter how small, you will do something that scares you, something that stretches you, something that moves you toward your highest potential. I want to share a story about a man who had built walls around his life for years. He was talented, intelligent, full of ideas, but the fear of rejection, the fear of failing in front of others, kept him locked in a routine of mediocrity. One day a mentor told him so. Me thing that would change everything. If you want to earn more, live more, and give more, you must embrace discomfort as your guide. Stop running from fear and start moving toward it. That man began small. He picked one fear, one that had been silently controlling him for years, and he faced it head on. And then he faced another, and then another. With each act of courage, his life began to shift. Opportunities he never imagined appeared. Confidence he didn't know he had grown. His ability to impact others multiplied. He realized that fear had only seemed insurmountable because he had treated it as a wall instead of a doorway. And this is what I want you to understand. The path to abundance, to a life of impact, to the freedom to give generously is paved with action in the presence of fear. Every dollar you wish to earn, every experience you dream of living, every life you hope to touch is on the other side of fear. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a challenge. It's a signal that says, if you go this way, you will grow. If you go this way, you will expand. If you go this way, you will become the person you are capable of being. Here's a reality that most people avoid. Fear is not going away. You cannot wait for it to disappear. You cannot wish it away, pray it away, or hope it will magically vanish. Fear is part of being human. The only question is, what will you do with it? Will you let it control your choices, keep you small, and rob the world of your gifts? Or will you harness it, transform it, and allow it to propel you toward your dreams? I want you to start seeing fear as a teacher, a compass, a guide that shows you exactly where to step next. When you feel that hesitation in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that inner voice saying, you can't, translate it into action. Let it be a signal that the most important thing in front of you is precisely what you need to do to grow. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you do this, the less fear controls you. The more you practice courage, the more it becomes a natural part of who you are. You begin to attract wealth, opportunities, relationships, and experiences not because fear has vanished, but because your ability to act in spite of it has grown exponentially. And remember, this isn't just about you. The life you create by mastering fear has a ripple effect. The more you earn, the more you live fully, the more you give freely, the more you inspire others to confront their own fears. You become a living example of what is possible when courage outweighs hesitation. The world needs people who are willing to step into their fear, to show others that it's safe to do the same, to create lives of abundance, impact, and generosity. Now we arrive at the point where everything comes together, the moment where you realize that overcoming fear isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. It's a commitment to yourself, to your dreams, and to the life you're meant to live. It's waking up every morning with the understanding that fear will always show up, but you have a choice. You can let it stop you, or you can let it guide you toward growth, abundance, and impact. The choice is always yours. Think about the most successful people in the world. People who have created unimaginable wealth, people who have made lasting contributions, people who have touched millions of lives. Do you know what they all have in common? They felt fear just like you and I, but they refused to let it define them. They treated fear as a signal, not a sentence, and they took action anyway. And that's what I want you to understand. Action is the antidote to fear. Action repeated over time builds momentum. Action rewires your brain. Action transforms the life you are living into the life you have always imagined. I want to tell you a story about a young man who dreamed of giving back to his community. He wanted to build programs that would educate and uplift others, but fear kept him from stepping forward. He worried about failure, about criticism, about not being enough. And then one day, he simply decided, I will act even if I'm afraid. That one decision, one courageous step set off a chain reaction. People rallied around him, doors opened, and soon his vision became a reality far beyond what he had imagined. He realized something powerful. Fear will never leave, but the courage to act, the willingness to move forward anyway, creates a life that fear cannot touch. And here's the truth I want you to take home. Earning more, living more, and giving more are not about luck, timing, or waiting for the perfect moment. They are about mastery over your own mind. They are about refusing to be paralyzed by fear. They are about creating habits, rituals, and beliefs that allow you to move boldly into life, even when uncertainty looms. Every time you do what scares you, every time you step beyond your comfort zone, every time you act despite the whispers of doubt, you are building a new reality for yourself, one filled with abundance, fulfillment, and the ability to make a difference in the lives of others. I want you to imagine your future for a moment. Imagine looking back on your life and realizing that you never let fear hold you back. Imagine the opportunities you seized, the dreams you achieved, the lives you touched, all because you decided to take action in spite of the fear. That is the life that is waiting for you. That is the life you are capable of living. And it all starts with a single choice, a decision to confront fear, to embrace it, and to use it as the fuel that propels you toward your highest potential. So today, right now, I want you to make a vow to yourself. I will no longer let fear dictate my life. I will earn more. I will live more, and I will give more. I will act in spite of fear because I know that courage is the bridge to the life I deserve. And as you make this commitment, feel it in your heart. Feel the excitement. Feel the energy. Feel the unstoppable force within you that has always been there, waiting for this moment to shine. Because once you do, nothing can stop you. The life you've dreamed of, the abundance, the fulfillment, the impact is already within your reach. You just have to step forward, one courageous step at a time. And now, my friend, I want you to take a deep breath and really feel this. Everything I've shared with you is in theory, it's truth. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is the doorway. Every hesitation, every doubt, every I can't is a signal pointing to where your next breakthrough lies, the life you've been dreaming of. The wealth, the freedom, the joy, the ability to give has been waiting for you on the other side of fear, and the only thing standing between you and that life is your decision to step forward. So today, I challenge you, take that step, do something that scares you right now, this week, this month, that your fear is telling you not to do. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be monumental. It just has to be real. It just has to be bold. It just has to move you forward. Because courage is built one step at a time. Momentum is built one action at a time. And transformation is built by refusing to let fear decide your story. I want you to see yourself not as someone who is limited by fear, but as someone unstoppable. I want you to feel the strength that has always been within you, the strength that rises every time you act in spite of doubt. I want you to know that the world needs your brilliance, your generosity, your impact, and the only way to bring it forth is to move through fear, not around it, not away from it. Step into it, lean into it. Let it guide you, but never let it control you. And as you do, I promise you this, life will begin to respond. Opportunities will appear, abundance will flow, relationships will deepen, purpose will ignite. You will earn more, live more, and give more, not because the path is easy, but because you have chosen courage over comfort, action over hesitation, and possibility over limitation. So go now. Step boldly into your life. Step boldly into your dreams. Step boldly into the person you were always meant to be. And remember this, fear is only as powerful as you allow it to be. You are stronger, you are capable, you are worthy, and your greatest life is waiting just beyond the moment when you decide, right here and right now, that fear will no longer define you. Go live it, go earn it, go give it. And in doing so, watch the world transform because you have transformed first.